my name is Donna Sweidan. For us, she's a networking guru. She's a LinkedIn guru. So we've been promoting LinkedIn any chance that we can, and then we're saying, okay, start with LinkedIn. Use your LinkedIn. But we got some questions from students like how. What's the effective way to do it? So that's where she comes in, and then she's the founder of Career Walk LLC, and which provides holistic service to the clients from knowing themselves to market themselves in an effective way. So also, again, with no further ado, Donna Sweidan.
There we go. Hi everybody. Thank you for coming today. I really applaud you. Give yourselves a clap actually, because is networking everybody's favorite subject? Don't you love networking? Not, right? I know how you all love networking. That's why you're here today, right? Anyway, so we're going to talk about that. My name is, once again, Donna Sweidan. Can everyone hear okay? This is good. And really my mission and what I love to do is take people from soul search to social media. And some of you may still be exploring what it is that you're supposed to be doing. I think that's a lifelong process that we all go through. Just when you think you've found what you love to do and you're in it for a couple of years, something happens in the world or in our lives and we have to change again. That's the world we live in today, isn't it? So people are constantly having to figure out what they're doing next. And then there's the social media piece of that, which has transformed the way we live today. Now, many of you are just still in college and you're just getting into the professional world, so what you're about to embrace and discover is all brand new to you. But a couple of people in the room have been in the professional world for a while, right, and understand that it never used to be like this, right? 10 years ago, there was no LinkedIn, there wasn't, well, Facebook was just beginning, Twitter, Instagram didn't exist, right? So our lives were quite different. But I'm going to jump right into this because it's a pretty important topic. And it's really, really important for career management. And I think that's what this is about. And as you can see here, I talk about going from LinkedIn to working. So who wants to be working? All of us, right? All right. So let's see. So a little bit about me. I'll get this out of the way because I know most people are always wondering where am I from, and I've got this strange accent. Anyone want to hazard a guess? Just so that you're not what? Oh, how do you know?
Because I have a woman of color plus two, Jillian Katz, who audits here, and I just know her accent.
Okay, well there we go. She gave it away, right? Very quickly. Most people don't get it on the. So I'm from South Africa, and I've been living here for 15 or 16 years. I lose track. And I came here and I started my practice in working in career development. In fact, I used to run the career services at the New School in New York City, which is almost like a sister college for you guys, right? And in fact, that it's very similar. So I worked with many students and alumni just like yourselves. And I've now, for the last, I think it's 8 years, I've been working for myself in my own business, doing career coaching and training just like this. All right. So we're going to talk about the new rules for managing your career today, because if you don't understand the why, it's really difficult to think about doing all the rest, because it's a lot of work. How much fun is it going on to LinkedIn? Not so much fun. Facebook, no, I don't know. Facebook is for us old folks still. Instagram, Twitter, where are you guys? Instagram and Twitter? No, none of the above? Okay. So here's the new reality for our world today, right? You are the boss of your own career. Now, for most of you, this is going to just be the world that you kind of go into for the first time. But as I mentioned, for those of us who've been around for a long time, my father, my mother, my grandparents, if you got a job in the old economy and the way America used to be, you would go in and get a job in one place, and the company would take care of you, right? Who had parents who had that experience for a long time? Some of us, right? Exactly. But this all changed about 20, 25 years ago, where, with the various recessions that have happened, and it's just transformed the way we all have to think about our careers. Now, I'm self-employed, I'm my own boss. But guess what? Every single one of you here, you need to start thinking, you need to have that mindset that you are the boss and that you are self-employed. Because you're all going to be having to sell yourselves over and over again. Because you know what the number of jobs that you'll have between the time that you're 18 and 36? I think it's 18 different jobs. That's the average, right? That's an average, but not in your 20s. Maybe that's, when you're in your 20s, there's a lot of different opportunities. Anyway, but this is why I'm teaching what I teach today. The other thing that's changed is that your Google results are your new resume, right? So if you've been for a job interview, I don't know, anyone ever experienced, well, I looked you up on the internet, right? How many of you, or the first, if you're going on a date, right, or a blind date, do you look people up on the internet? Same thing with work, right? Same thing with work. And where do they go? You want to present and you want to look professional, okay? So that's really important. And that's why we have tools like LinkedIn, amongst other reasons which we're going to talk about. So the other thing is, it's differentiate or disappear. How many of you have a LinkedIn profile? How many of you don't have a photo up there? Or do have a photo, I should say. How many have a photo? All right, 5 maybe out of this whole group, okay? So, but you're going to just be a gray figure, right, on the page. Is that impressive? Is that going to leave an impression on anyone? No. You've got to think about how you're going to differentiate yourself. Just having a photo up there makes your whole profile look professional. I'm going to talk about that, right? Do you have an empty void on your Facebook profile? Mm-hmm. Okay, maybe you have a funny cartoon or something. But still, it's representing your brand, right? It's who you are, your professional image. There's so much to cover today. I'm going to talk quickly, and I might just kind of drop a couple of hints about different things that we obviously are not going to be able to cover today, but I want you to be thinking about all these things. For example, presenting your image, right? It's your professional image, and that's what I'm talking about here. Right. In many ways, this is your new resume, as we said, right? So LinkedIn, believe it or not, even tools like Facebook are your new resume, and Twitter. You can use Twitter as a that's part of your branding image on the web, okay? It's what you say, even. It's all those status updates. Be careful what you say on those status updates, right? Whether it's on Facebook or you know how to use the privacy settings really well. Okay, good. On LinkedIn, they're very limited privacy settings because it's a professional environment and you're supposed to be professional, just like you would at work on LinkedIn. All right, so it's not the same thing. On Twitter too, I mean, there are limited privacy settings on Twitter, aren't there? All right. So the next thing is networking is our topic today. But what does LinkedIn mean in the world of networking? What it means is that you can go to a conference and network with people without even leaving your house. You can go to a professional conference and learn. That's what it's like if you go onto LinkedIn every day and peruse around all the information. It's like you're going to a daily presentation on any number of topics. You get to meet people who are in your field, right? So that's really, really important. And one way to think about this is that, and what do you do when you go to a professional conference? Anyone here been to a professional conference before or anything like that? All right, well, what do you do when you go to a professional conference?
I haven't been to one quite that many years.
Okay, but you've been.
Generally, you go to a bunch of different little spots and people talk or there's exhibits.
Okay, so exhibits. Do you talk with people?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Okay, so that's the goal, right? You go there to learn to mix with people in your field, right? Whether it's a conference for dancers or musicians or or scientists, it doesn't matter. You're going there to connect with people. But it's tough, right? It costs money to go, it takes time, you don't have the resources to get to those kind of conferences are not that easy, right, for the best of us. So what can you do? You can go and you can share information on tools like LinkedIn or Twitter or Facebook for that matter, right? But most of all, we want to talk about LinkedIn. So I love this term, knowledge-powered networking. That's what you're doing. You're sharing information and you are networking in that process. So you don't necessarily have to have something smart to say. You could just find a really cool article that pertains to your field. Tell me, what are you studying, for example? Sociology, all right. What year are you in? Junior, okay. So are you studying something really interesting, and are there articles on the web about that? There are? Okay. So you could go you could take that article and share it with your classmates if you're connected with them on LinkedIn and say, look at this. I just read this amazing article. I think many of you could benefit from this information. And then you might even start a conversation about it, right? That is called knowledge-powered networking. So, you don't need to be shy and think, oh my God, what am I going to say? You just need to share an article and see if you can kind of start some discussion around that. That is what the essence of LinkedIn and social media is about, right? Because it's social networking. So lastly, and this is really the crux of what we're talking about today, your network, right? Networking is your career insurance. That's what's also changed from, even though back in the day, our parents and our grandparents, they would look in the newspaper and find a job. Or they would, somebody in their community, right, in their family would help them find a job. Today, you absolutely need that community support. It takes a village, doesn't it? Who feels that way? It takes a village to help you find a job in this economy. It sure does. So, it's your career insurance. That's so important. If I can leave you with one thing, it's about, cultivating your network. Every single person in this room is important to you right now. And really, one of the things that you should all do is swap emails, connect on LinkedIn even. You never know where one of you might land in a couple of years, right? Or maybe who's got a great job now? That they, people, right, okay. So you could, connect with him. All right, so that's really important. So what's in your way? Who struggles with this whole networking thing? A couple of you, I bet. All right, yeah, it's not easy. So let's think. Don't know the right people. Who feels that way? Yeah? Okay? Too scared and nervous. Yeah, I know. You don't need to put up your hand. I know you're out there. Don't have the time. Right? It takes time. You guys are all trying to finish school. You're working. Then you've got 2 jobs and finishing school. It's tricky. The budget. It takes money to go to cocktail parties and networking events and conferences. Right? That's tricky today. Or you just don't know where to start. That's a common thing too. I work with people of all ages, and believe me, they can be in their 40s and they don't know how to network, right? Or 50s. It's hard. And, I think it's really hard. You put yourself out there, you feel vulnerable and anxious, and you don't know what to say. Networking is not the funnest thing in the world, but it's so important. And believe it or not, but tools like LinkedIn are here to make it much easier for you. So that's really important. All right. So to make this really simple, I came up with my 10C rules. So we're going to kind of fly through LinkedIn. Unfortunately, there's a lot to talk about. I can stand here for 2 whole days and talk about LinkedIn. And guess what? What will happen tomorrow? LinkedIn will go and change half their website. Right? For those of you who've spent any time on LinkedIn, you'll know that they're always changing 10 times worse than Facebook. Facebook doesn't change stuff nearly half as much as LinkedIn does. And they drive me crazy because I'll be giving a big presentation, and this happened. I was doing the presentation, there were hundreds of people there, and I go to the one skills page. I don't know if anyone experienced this, and guess what? My favorite page on the whole LinkedIn website had disappeared. They took away the skills page. That was huge because you know what? It's like it was a gold mine for every one of us. Every one of us. It's so much information, and a ton of us complain too. But what to do? Let's dive through this, and because then we're going to do some real hardcore networking. Because as important as being on LinkedIn is, so is talking with everybody. Right? That's also really, really critical. So we've got to do a little bit of both, which I think makes this such an amazing program. And so I'm glad you're going to take advantage of it. So this is important, right? Only 5 of you had your photos up. That means your profile is not complete. Okay? It's really important and for so many reasons to have a complete profile. First of all, you are presenting a professional image that way, aren't you? Right? If you have a professional if you have a photo. You do not need to go and spend money. Guess what? With my clients, I take my phones and I take photos of them and they look wonderful. If you know someone who's good at Photoshop, and hey, you guys will come to purchase and I bet you have a friend who's good at Photoshop, you know what? If those gorgeous models who are absolutely perfect can be Photoshopped, you can too, just a tad if you insist, okay? Don't go crazy, but you know what? Hey, if you don't like this spot over here, take it off, whatever. It doesn't matter. You don't need to look like a supermodel. That's the only thing, right? I knew this one woman. She was gorgeous, but she photoshopped her profile photo so much, it was like she was looking for a job as a model. She was not looking for a job as a model. So I was like, you got to look real, right? Look yourself. You don't need to have this perfect Photoshop picture. Yes?
When you have concerns about people, wanting to know how you look for bad reasons?
Well, discrimination. There is
For example, how you look.
Yes,
Might
well,
discriminate against
you know
you.
what? There are 75 there. I have an amazing list of reasons why you won't get the job, right? You can be too tall, you can be too short, you can be too wide, you can be too long, you can have long hair, short hair. Not to disqualify what you're saying, absolutely. There's discrimination out there, let's not forget that. But ultimately, I think today, if you have the skills, and I think one of the biggest reasons why people aren't landing jobs today is number one, the economy it's so competitive, and number two, the skills gap. People that I'm seeing through our work who've been in jobs for 10 years have let their skills dry up. So I've worked with 60-year-olds, people in their 60s who've landed jobs, right? So
My
yeah.
other question is, I just joined yesterday.
Yeah.
One of the biggest things that I noticed is a lot of people, when they have their picture,
Yes.
you can't really see them. They're like standing back.
Right.
They don't want you to see them up close.
That's true.
So they'll have like an action picture of them doing something.
That's true.
And so you see them.
Right.
But you really don't.
Well, you look like you're in great shape, and you're young, right? You look good. Is there, I don't
Well,
see.
for me, it's,
Yes.
that's not one of the reasons.
Yeah.
I'm more concerned with people doing interesting stuff all the time.
Yeah.
Or finding out information about me.
Right.
If they know how I look.
Right.
I don't care if someone knows how I look, I'm working with them.
Right.
But, I do care if people like out there looking for information. Now they got to make sure they come out.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be paranoid.
No. Well,
But,
then,
one of the things that I noticed is a lot of
Yes.
people don't have a close-up picture.
right. Although, if you look at all the millions of people that do, I bet you there are more that have a professional photo up there than not. Personally, I've been on LinkedIn since 2005, and I mean, my pictures on the web. I've never experienced anything. I had identity theft before the web, right? I mean, identity theft has been around ever since there have been credit cards, and I think all that, I mean, there are malicious people out there, and you can go to Target, or someone can walk past you and swipe your bag and literally steal the information out of your wallet, right? I mean, there's crazy stuff out there. So, I totally get that we all need to be cautious. Personally, I've never heard anything, and I think there's a cost-benefit analysis here that one has to weigh up in terms of that. All right, yes?
How long do employers look at your profile?
Oh, great question. How long do employers look at your profile? I'll tell you this, and it's from the mouth of a recruiter. As long as it's interesting. As long as it's interesting and as long as there is information out there that is appealing for them. But guess what? They need to find your profile first. And if they don't, if your profile is not complete and all these other C words that I'm going to share with you now, and they're not going to find it. The reason why you have a 100% complete profile and everything else I'm going to talk about here is because it has to be search engine optimization. It has to be good for SEO, right? Who's knows that word? SEO? It's probably one of the most important words we can know today. Because if your profile is not customized with all the keywords, and this goes, how many of you have put a resume on Career Builder or Monster or Indeed, right? What do they say about when you put stuff on there? How do they find your resume? Keywords, exactly. Same here. Same here. Or if you create a website, right? If you want anyone to find your website, it has to be optimized, right, for search engines. Same with your profile. So, before they can even find your profile, before they can even spend time looking at it, they have to find it. And you're competing, right, against millions of other people. So for all the reasons I'm going to show you today, if your profile is not complete, you are not going to come up in the searches that the recruiters do. All right, so that's important.